The first time I saw Leo, he was sitting on the curb outside my apartment in Brooklyn, barefoot, bleeding from one knuckle, holding a cigarette he hadn't lit. It was February, and the city was still in mourning after 2 years of collective loss, of sirens and silence and canceled weddings and Zoom funerals. I'd just come back from my third therapy session of the week, where I talked about how I no longer recognized my own laughter. My life was clean on paper. A good job editing travel essays I never took, a second-hand cat named Olive, and an ex-fiancé who left without a fight, but inside I was a locked room with no windows. He looked up when I passed, said, "Don't worry, I'm not homeless, just avoiding my apartment." I blinked, unsure whether to keep walking or sit beside him. He added, "You've got paint on your sleeve." I looked down, a smudge of blue, probably from the bathroom wall I'd tried and failed to repaint that morning. We didn't introduce ourselves, not that day, but 2 nights later I heard him playing piano through the wall. Slow, mournful notes that didn't beg to be heard but didn't hide either. Like grief turned into sound, I pressed my ear to the drywall like a child, and I began tapping back. 1 knock, 2, 3, he paused, then kept playing. We fell into a rhythm, music, silence, a neighborly nod, until one night the fire alarm went off in the middle of my building. I ran into the hallway barefoot and clutching Olive. He was already outside, barefoot too, holding a violin I didn't know he played. We laughed, a real one for once. After that we spoke. His name was Leo. He was a composer, used to be famous-ish. Before he dropped off the radar, I asked why. He said, "I wrote a film score for someone I loved. Then they died. I couldn't write a note after." I told him about my ex. How we planned a life full of adventures, but ended up barely speaking at the end. I told him about my mother's panic attacks, about how I kept my own panic hidden in carefully labeled folders and polite emails. He started coming over. Always late, always polite. He smelled like cedar and chamomile tea. He never stayed past 2 a.m. One night I asked why. He looked away. "I don't sleep well. Never have if I stay. I dream. If I dream, I remember." I didn't push. I just handed him a blanket and curled up on the other side of the couch. We existed like that for months. Some nights were full of music, others were quiet. He'd sketch out melodies in my notebook. I'd read him snippets of stories I edited. He once said, "You fix broken things for a living." I said, "So do you?" But there was always something distant about him, like he lived half in shadow. Then, in early June, he disappeared. No calls, no music, nothing. His apartment stayed dark for 5 days. I knocked, no answer. Then came the envelope slipped under my door. Inside was a key, a USB drive, and a note. "If you listen to this, you'll know the truth. If you walk away, I'll understand." I plugged in the USB. It was music, a score, but laid with something else, a recording, his voice. He spoke in pieces. Her name was Tessa, my wife. She was the singer on all my demos. We got married in Prague. She had a brain tumor we didn't catch until it was too late. I wrote her a lullaby. I played it the night she died. I didn't touch a piano for 3 years. My chest felt like it was made of glass. Then came the twist. She wasn't the only one who died. There was a car crash, Tessa, and our daughter I was supposed to be driving. I drank that night, just a glass, but enough. I fell asleep at the wheel. The silence after that was louder than the music. I should have died with them. I tried twice, but I didn't. Now I just live here next to you, trying not to feel anything real. I stared at the screen, numb. When I walked into his apartment that night, I found him at the piano. He looked up, as if he'd been waiting. "I told you everything," he said. "I know. I understand if I'm not leaving." I whispered, "I see you." He exhaled, and it sounded like relief. That night he stayed, not just until 2 a.m. He stayed through the dreams, through the panic, through the morning light. It's been 6 months. He still doesn't sleep much. I still double lock the door. Even though I live in the safest part of the city, Olive has adopted him like he's part of the furniture. And sometimes when the world is too loud, we sit in silence on the rooftop and he hums that lullaby for them, for her, for the girl he never got to watch grow up. I don't know what we are, not really. But we're healing slowly. And in that broken melody of grief and forgiveness, we are music.